Hey everyone, this is Jebro talking about Dragon Hunter today. This build is pretty similar really to the build that's on Meta Battle. We're just talking about it very briefly and maybe explain to you some of the differences which make it even stronger than it was before. That's in like regular play. I'm not talking about top tier competitive. People like Tage may play something around this. Or maybe the bunker version, and people who have got guardians in their team compositions may do. But we'll have to wait and see. But I'm playing this at the moment. It's fun and it's a great build. And if you're probably playing something similar if you're a Dragon Hunter player anyway. And if you're not and you want to try something out, then give it a bash. It's pretty fun build with just some changes, and because of the buffs to Guardian survivability, as well as some trait changes, this build is a lot stronger than it was, and you can 1v1 things like, Condition Warrior, as well as Mesmer, especially Necros I'm having some fun against as well. So it's very good in 1v1s, and it's very good as well versus, even versus engineers, like not experienced players, like engineer-wise, but it's pretty nice. So let's have a look. Virtue's Valor and Dragon Hunter here. We're going to go for, obviously, Longbow, Sword, Focus, with air and fire on the longbow, air again on sword, and then we're going to get Sigil of Blood over on the focus with pack and also marauder. You can try and change these up, because I think the fury, we're getting quite a lot of fury from this build as well in the first place, so I'm not sure you need pack as much, but the swiftness is quite important. But you could try something like Traveller, or just let me know what you're trying as well, because it's quite interesting. A lot of people still going with Trapper Rune, seeing a lot of stealth coming out from Guardians, because obviously when you lay a trap you grab yourself stealth, so that's also a thing. But we're going to go through the build quickly. So here we go. The usual adepts, Inspired Virtue, they're going over towards Unscathed Contender, so deal more damage while under the effects of Aegis. You get a lot of Aegis in this build, as you get a lot of Aegis as Guardian anyway. Virtue of Retribution, so gain retaliation when you activate a virtue, which is, going to help you in terms of your extra damage if they're trying to attack you, of course, because it is a reflect onto the source, especially if they're going to come in with some nice bursts, which is always lovely versus a thief. But we're going to talk about this kind of area a little bit more, because Absolute Resolution still removes those conditions. That's free conditions on top of a passive that was added in the update notes. And if you watch my video on update notes, you know what I'm talking about. As on the 26th of July 2016, when the Guardian now has a not passive, but a baseline to self-condition remove on his resolve, Virtue of Resolve, so Wings of Resolve or Virtue of Resolve, that's been added. So that's like 5 condition removal or whatever. That does stack up as far as I'm aware. I haven't been paying a massive attention to that, but I have been able to remove conditions a lot easier with the accompaniment of Absolute Resolution with the baseline self-condition removal. But I have seen people going for this combination, so going for Virtuous Solace, which is a new trait, as the old trait, can't remember the name now, has been combined and merged into, I think, Permeating Wrath there, so it's something to do with burning as far as I remember. And now we've got this, so you drop a Sanctuary, which is not bad, Let's have a look at Sanctuary change, for example. They did change this. They've changed the area, which is a lot bigger. They've changed the amount it heals for as well. Now, dropping this when you're at 25% health obviously is very, very good. But people are using it in combination with Master of Consecrations because they last longer and the recharge is less. So if we chuck that and that on, we're going to see that now the cooldown for this, the internal cooldown, is 60 seconds instead of 75. The pulses is 6 and the duration is 6, whereas it was 4 before without that. So it's not bad. I mean, it increases your survivability. If you're coordinated as a team and you're getting significantly taken down in team fights, then it's an option. But I prefer to go for Absolute Resolution because I'm 1v1ing a lot, and I can 1v1 things like warriors and mesmers a lot easier than I used to be able to. So there's options, you know, try what you want, see what works for you. Power of the Virtuous, so deal extra damage for each boon you have. You know, we have boons, recharge faster onto Virtues, because obviously Virtues, trait line is going to be about Virtues. Indomitable Courage, activating Virtue of Courage, breaks stun, and grants stability to affected allies. So that's very, very important. Obviously the break stun is very good, as well as giving you the block and also the stability. There's a lot that comes out from that. You can see protection as well. You can see the boons. It's very, very strong indeed, and will help you to survive, especially if you're breaking stun. Anyway, Valor. And then we're going to go on to Valorous Defense. I think I call it Valorous every single bloody time. Gain Aegis when you are struck below the health threshold. Extra survivability there with the block. Smiter's boon, so use smite condition when you use a healing ability. It obviously doesn't matter which healing ability you use, it's still your heal, which is absolutely fine. Then we're going to go over towards Courageous Return. So Virtue of Courage is recharged when you revive. Obviously, you know, empowers that even more, because if you get your Virtue of Courage back and you've used it to actually res someone, you're going to get it back straight away, which is always a touch, right? I mean, 30-second internal cooldown as well. It gives you a big cooldown back, which is great. Strength in numbers, really just increasing your toughness. We've not really got any toughness in this build in any way, so it's good to have that in addition. We're not using shield, and you know, grant Aegis again. We're getting so much Aegis. I mean, this is more for allies anyway. Gain might when you block attacks. We're blocking a lot, obviously, through things like, you know, Shield of Wrath and obviously Shield of Courage, not through the heal though. Then we go Monk's Focus. Using a meditation skill heals you and grants Fury to allies in a radius, obviously yourself as well. And we've got a couple of meditation skills as well. So, and obviously, you know, we've got our heal, which counts as a meditation. There you go. Because when we use our heal, obviously through the traits as I showed you, we're going to get smite conditions. So it's obviously going to be nice to have that extra fury on top of the trap and on top of the heal. So don't forget about these things, you know. This activates that in the traits, and that activate is a meditation. So that is going to be giving you sorry, I don't know if it gives you an extra heal actually, but it does obviously give you the fury. So let's just double check. Smite condition there, it's got 16 seconds. If we take that off, it does obviously affect it, because we get the 4 extra seconds there of cooldown. So that's, again, the synergy you really have to think about, because sometimes if you change even just the tiniest thing, you know, it's going to screw your build up, and that is an important link to that trait there. Well, I feel it is anyway. So, you know, just showing you. I know you know. I know you know. I'm not trying to teach you to suck heads, dude, or dudette. But it's important to think about these things. Okay, so Dragon Hunter here as well. We're going to go into that. So, Piercing Light traps daze enemies when activating and have reduced recharge times. You know, yeah, that's obvious. You know, our heal's going to come up more. We're going to get Taste of Faith more as well. Blocking an attack causes justice to reach its maximum charge. That's, you know, when you hit people, I was going to say passively, you're going to get the charge up, so you're going to be able to burn more. You'll be doing a little bit of extra damage when you've blocked. Hunter's Determination, so gain Aegis and drop Fragments of Faith. Now, don't forget, when we've got Aegis as well, we're doing 20% extra damage. So, you know, having extra Aegis is good, but I just hit. Just survivability, just the pure toughness is nice anyway. So, you know, having that is great, and obviously helps us out a ton. You can see the protection and obviously the stability which comes out from that. So we've got a lot of protection and stability coming out from that skill. Then we're going to Pure of Sight, so deal bonus damage based on your distance to the enemy. So obviously longbow damage is increased there on the range. And then really the main change of the build, to be honest. And obviously, you know, I'll talk about sword and whatnot in a moment as well. Ignore this Sanctuary because that's not part of it. Hunter's Fortification. So remove conditions when blocking attacks. Receive less damage when you have no conditions on you. So this is going to be, instead of really the heavy light, so deflecting shot knocks back enemies on each hit, gain stability when knocking back, blowing out, or pulling an enemy. So obviously, you know, this affects more than just, you know, this longbow. But the thing is, I prefer in 1v1s especially, and going up against condition heavy builds, you know, Necros, Mesmers as well at the moment who are playing conditions, and obviously Warriors, this block is fantastic because, especially using focus, and this is why I'm not playing shield. Now I see a lot of people playing shield. We're going to run over to the NPCs and I'm just going to show you. Okay, as long as no one steals my NPC, because you know what people are like, they keep running into them and just killing them off. I'm going to show you, hopefully, that you can, when you block an attack, you can remove a condition with a ranger. Now, Aegis blocks attacks, so it should remove a condition as well when it's applied to you, and then obviously through your traits and through your abilities, you're able to remove conditions. So, Shield of Courage is a block, obviously. These are the main two abilities which you're going to activate to actually get Aegis to block attacks and take away condition damage. So let's hit the Ranger and let him apply some condition to us. Hopefully, I hope, he should apply some vulnerability. So I put block up and that removes those stacks of vulnerabilities. So if I put up my Courage, he hits that, that's a block, and again removes the condition. Now that's very, very, very basic in terms of what I'm talking about in terms of condition removal. It doesn't really show it off the best, but you can actually see that pretty well when you're in games. So make sure you're obviously doing that when you can. So what are the other changes as well? Sword is specifically has had a massive change to the second ability. It's now called Symbol of Blades. So teleport to your target, striking them and blinding nearby foes, but drop a symbol at your feet that damages nearby enemies and benefits allies. Now when it says benefit allies, it's Fury, which is extra crit chance, and you do a ton of extra damage. They did change the third skill as well on the sword in the chain. And it sends out wave of attacks that strike multiple targets, which is really, really strong. I can just show you how much extra damage we get from this. So let's remember, we're against the Ranger again as well. Using 2, so you get the extra damage there. You get the damage from the symbol, and then just using 1 alone, you can see the amount of damage that comes out. Obviously, the Ranger's just being an arse and is just going to try and block me. But again, you know, using my block while I'm going for down, you know, any conditions applied to me are going to be removed once I get hit through that block. So again, you know, even going for downs and something like that, you know, rezzing, it empowers your block a lot more. Just going for that condition removal increases your survivability in terms of the damage reduction as well, which is very strong. And over heavy light, okay, you get a knockback and you get stability as well, and that's a knockback for everyone. I still prefer using this versus Warriors and Mesmers and whatnot. It's just my preferred skill, and I'm pretty sure that it's working with Aegis as well because it's a block, and that's how the game works. I mean, I've been seeing that it has been removing conditions when I get Aegis applied to me, but you know, that's the thing. Obviously, when they block the attack, sorry. So I've been having fun with this build. If I've said anything wrong, which I don't think I have, you know, sometimes I get a bit muddled here and there, you know what I'm like. But it's a fun build. I really enjoy playing this build as well. Okay, it's not got as much mobility as, say, my engineer and whatnot. It's not as, you know, it's not as competitive as probably a lot of the meta builds are at the moment, but we could see that change because it's had a lot of changes to it. Survivability increases, things like removing conditions on block is, you know, very, very powerful and strong, which I love at the moment as well. Even just the Virtuous Solace is great, but this sword change specifically is one of the biggest changes that there is. You know, Symbol of Blades is just an absolute massive change. Hunter's Fortification, you know, that's not a new thing, but it still works very, very well. And in terms of, you know, having baseline condition removal as well, I think this could be, you know, really, really nice for this build. So tell me what you think. If you think it's crap, then fine. If you don't, then awesome as well. But, you know, always discussion is important, and always, you know, just talking to each other in the comments, being respectful. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you on another video. Dragon Hunter, pretty much the meta, not pretty much the meta battle build. but with a couple of changes and possibilities that hopefully I pointed out to you. So see you later, take it easy, and goodbye.